Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Top 5 Mistakes. I am Michael Chen, filling in for this episode. So today we're going to be looking at 5 different mistakes in 5 different levels. This is the first one. This is between an 17 and an 18Q player, and this black move here is the mistake we will be talking about. This mistake, the mistake is that this move does not accomplish anything useful for black. Instead of this, you can play here, you can play this, or somewhere else. The important thing to remember here is that this move does not accomplish enough as a move for black. Now, the reason this move was played was because probably black wanted to connect this stone and that stone. But in this case, if black plays somewhere else, there is still no way for white to cut. Like so. So as a result, the two stones, the two groups of stones are connected no matter what black does, and in fact he can do absolutely nothing at all here. This is when we are starting out and learning how to play. This is a way of that we can improve very quickly. If we can identify places where we do not have to move, we can figure out where to move later. This is very typical. If you are able to master this kind of connected or not connected evaluations, then you will be able to capture much more of your opponent's pieces than the other way around, and then you can step up and go on to the next level. Okay, the next mistake is a game between a 10 and an 11Q, and here is a mistake. Black has just played the T5, this hane on the first line. Now the mistake here is that black has to recognize that his corner needs to be defended. He needs to live in the corner. He could play either one of those two moves, or even the 1-2 move, or even the S1 move. But in any case, he needs to realize that he has to defend in the corner. Now, as a result of this hane, his opponent was later able to capture his entire corner, and so this had a pretty drastic consequence. But the reason for this move, maybe he was trying to attack these 5 groups. Maybe he was trying to play a better territorial move to gain that extra 1 point. We don't know, but he needed to recognize that he had to defend the corner, and so the actual game turned out that his move did not do what was absolutely necessary at the time, and he paid the ultimate price. Now, remember this shape. We'll know why later. Now, the next mistake is a move also by black, played at the 3Q and 4Q level. Right now, black needs to cut and capture these 2 pieces. After he does this, white's group on the upper side is slightly weak, much weaker. White's potential in the middle is all gone, And potential here refers to the potential of making territory in the middle. Normally at the lower ranks, capturing some pieces, capturing stones is the first thing that comes to mind. I'm very surprised that in this case, when capturing the two stones is important, that he did not do it that way. Now, so during the game, he played this extension on top, and this allowed white to connect the stone back. Now you can just visually see this ocean of white here. If white gets another move right here or somewhere anywhere in the middle here, this entire middle would be completely white territory, and so that is much larger than whatever territory you might get up there on the top. Now black played here. Maybe he was just assuming that white would block whenever he pushed, and then he can capture this. So maybe he wanted to do that, even though incidentally black does not gain and in fact loses a little bit with this exchange anyway. But when we're playing the game, we don't usually think this much, think about the value of our moves that much. So it's understandable. This was very technical. He assumed that white would respond somewhere, but white took the opportunity to play the most important area on the board. And as you can see, black next proceeded to try to run these two stones home, and clearly he recognized his error and how big the white potential territory is in the middle, and tried to deal with that later. Now ultimately he did lose the game, and we think this is probably one of the major reasons why. Take your opportunities when they present themselves to you, and don't just simply assume that your opponent is going to answer. And taking from the other perspective, when your opponent plays a move, don't assume that you have to answer either. And you can miss many great moves that way. Okay, and our next mistake is requires a little bit more of reading, and it is this black move at the 2-down level. He played an eye making move here. Presumably, he is trying to make his group alive. The problem is, while the intention is sound, he left his group vulnerable to this peep right here. And this is a very common life and death shape. Many problems, life and death problems involve shapes like this. And this is a real game example of this in action. Now this move takes away black's potential to make 2 eyes on the side. Next he has to make sure his eye at B13 is an eye, and so he plays something like this. White would play here, he plays here, and then white has this Atari with 2 liberties left, and forcing black to connect and taking away, stabbing out the last remaining eye that black has, and this would be disaster. The only other thing black may do is to fight a little how do you say this? Some kind of a ko. He has no better choices. If white can Ataris, this will be a ko for life. Now the better thing for white to do is not to fight the ko like that, but to just extend back one. And when black does the same thing, this is a ko. So whereas before there was no code here, this would be a dead shape. Now Black has made this syntax exchange, and he's gonna fight this code to maintain that I right there. So it's better. It's much worse than than what the group should have been, which was completely alive. Now there's at least a code, if not something worse. For example, when Black plays here, if White plays there, Black has to try to make his eye here. So if White was just slightly stronger on the side, Black would surely be dead either way. So the correct response was just to play there. Next, Black has an eye here, and then another eye on the side. If White plays something else, you know, a similar, very similar situation. Okay, now when interestingly in the game, when Black played here, White did not punish Black directly. Instead he played on for he played on and on and on, and he played on and on and on, and he only played the killing move at move 139 with this many stones on the board. So it is up to us. We can only speculate to whether he saw that right away. He saw that right now. He saw that a little bit before this, or he was more sinister and more evil and saw this problem right here and just pretended not to see anything until absolutely much later, when this sort of a dagger assassin-like move would surely end the game, or he wanted to torture his opponent, making his opponent think, his opponent might think, hey, I'm doing okay, I might win this game, only to have his hopes dashed at the end by a move like this. Whatever his motivations, he did end up playing this Tsuji, and he did secure the victory. Now, here we come to our final mistake, and let's pull it up. And this is from one of my own games that I played on the Fox server. The mistake that we will point out in a moment is right at this juncture. As you can see from what happened later, I have a dead corner on the upper right here. Now, that corner was not always dead, and as you can see, we fought a fairly complex code there, and the mistake we will see is very reminiscent of something that we saw earlier. Guess where I played? Now, let's just compare the two mistakes. Remember here, this move, and guess where I played? I played there. It's almost exactly the same shape. Now, in this case, I needed to realize that I have to defend my corner, and I can do it there. I can play there. I can play this. I can play whatever I want in the corner. But instead, I played on the first line right there, and for what is the reason? There is no good reason. I was not doing very well at this point in the game. I thought I was slightly behind. I wanted to pressure his group here. There is a cutting point here, but then he can just make his group alive. So it turns out this move does almost nothing for me. So it is up to you guys to decide or respond and say what level this move was. Now it was played by 9Dan, but I have labeled a similar mistake as a 10Q or an 11Q mistake. So we're all fallible somehow, right? Anyway, so I had to live, but instead I played a very I turned the alive corner into a free co for him, and so it turned a very bad situation into a much worse situation, and I suffered the consequences. Though I didn't suffer the ultimate consequence, because I ended up coming back by his mistakes. But when you make a mistake like this in a relatively high level game, you almost always pay the ultimate price for it. Okay. Thank you guys for watching, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed these 5 mistakes. See you guys next time.